Hello everyone, this is Dewey, and welcome to another installment in my GRT Extras playlist. And this time I'm going to be talking about Bullet Jump in GRT because I'm seeing other videos pop up on YouTube talking about using Bullet Jump in their tuning process, and I don't think that's a good idea. And I'm going to use this video to explain why I don't think that's a good idea. But I just thought since new videos are coming up, I'm going to just build this, put it out there, as I think it will help clarify the bullet jump feature in Gordon's reloading tool. So let's get right into it. Okay, so here I am in Gordon's reloading tool, and I'm going to use the example from the rifle setup in part 7 video, my GRT basics, with the Remington 78 and 308. So here I have, this is the original untuned profile for the N150 powder in the ELDM 178s, and then over here is the untuned profile with Varget. Okay, so I'm just gonna go back here to the N150. So what I did was I have the tuned profile that I used in part 7 and 8, and then here I did another tuning with Bullet Jump. But let's start here with the Bullet Jump option right here. So when you click on it, obviously it's locked, so you want to click to unlock it. And I'm going to read this right here. It says, caution, bullet jump is a special function for the effect of a bullet movement by the primer. Accordingly, bullet jump is the distance the bullet travels until touching the rifling before the powder can provide significant force. Okay, so this is just the bullet moving from the primer alone. Studies show that the bullet can move out of the case and be placed on the rifling before the actual ignition of the powder by the energy of the primer alone, especially in cartridges with straight wall cases or only with a small shoulder and larger bullet diameters, as well as slower powders. Okay, so placed on the rifling before actual ignition. Okay, so GRT assumes that the bullet is on the rifling and the ignition of the powder is what's pushing it down the barrel. Okay, not the bullet isn't moving from the primer alone. So that's why this caution is in here. It also says this function lowers the displayed pressure and is to be used as a last resort only. Okay, and if you read this paragraph, it talks about how you test for it, and you basically load 3 to 5 cartridges at normal cartridge overall length, and then load another 3 to 5 that are nearly at or do touch the lands using the same powder charge. If the recorded velocity of the two test firings are similar, but the SD and ES figures of the longer overall length is significantly better, then the ammunition/rifle is most likely experiencing a bullet unseat event, in which case you would use the bullet jump feature. If you remember in my part 9 where I did the bullet jump, it was the opposite of this. When I seated the bullets long and they were touching the lands, my ES was worse. Okay, this is saying if it gets better, then use bullet jump. So in most cases with normal rifle cartridges that are bottleneck, you do not need to use bullet jump, and Gordon put it right here in the notes, warnings, and cautions. Okay, but let's just go ahead and use it. Click read and understand, unlock. And my rifle that I used, or this my father's rifle, the initial tuning was about 116 thousandths from jam. This is where I tuned it. So I'm going to guess the lands are around 16 thousandths off from the jam, just ballpark figure. So I'm going to make this 0.1 for the jump, bullet jump. Hit enter. And here you'll see the pressure dropped. Here, let me go back. Go back to 0. Here it's saying, this is before tuning, mind you. Maximum pressure, 50,162. Go to 0.1. It dropped about 4,000 PSI just from this bullet jump alone. Okay, now remember the pitfall is about using GRT as your initial load. If I use this as the initial load, I'm just thinking, oh, okay, I'm at 46,000. Well, then after I actually tune it, I'm at 54,000. All right, so that's a, 8,000 PSI difference. So again, one more reason not to use GRT values without being tuned, and another reason why I don't recommend using bullet jump, but we're going to dig deeper. So what I did was I tuned it with bullet jump, or without bullet jump, which was the original tune that I used. for the series, and then I tuned it again with Bullet Jump and OBT. I did the same thing with Varget. So this is pre-tune, this is Varget, regular tune, OBT tune, and then I did Varget with Bullet Jump and OBT powder tune. So let's go ahead and look at the data. All right, I just thought it'd be easier to go through the data, making this little table right here. So Remington 78-308, I have two blocks here. One is for the N150 powder, the other is for the Varget. And then across the top, I have the normal OBT tune that I did for part 7 and 8. And then I did the Bullet Jump 100,000s, where it was actually seeded off the lands, if you will, and then OBT tuned it. So if we look at the max pressure, the Bullet Jump tune is about 1800 psi lower. The muzzle velocity is about the same because it's being tuned. The load ratio is the same because the PCD has not changed and it's tuned. And then the other significant change was the bullet lead time in milliseconds, which once we put the Bullet Jump in, it reduced about 0.02 milliseconds. So it was 0.02 milliseconds slower once we put the Bullet Jump in. Okay. And then if we look at Varget, very similar. It was 1750 feet per second lower, or I'm sorry, 1750 psi lower max pressure. The muzzle velocity was the same because it was tuned. Load ratio was the same, but again, the bullet lead time in milliseconds was about 0.02 milliseconds slower because of the Bullet Jump. So what the Bullet Jump is saying is there's a pulse from the primer that is making the bullet move forward and then seating in the lands. So it's assuming that there's this little bit of pressure and it builds a larger area, if you will, a larger volume within the case. And that's why the max pressure is lower, because your volume is larger. It's a less of a confined space for that powder to burn and ignite, even though the bullet obviously is traveling down the barrel. And then obviously it's going to be a little bit slower as far as the bullet lead time. So if you're using the OBT feature, you'll have to mess around, see what's better with you, but I just don't think it's worth it. So in my personal experience, the OBT tune of the powder without the Bullet Jump has been closer to reality in the few cartridges that I've been tuning so far, as far as when I'm reaching around 65,000 psi and seeing signs on the brass and or the clicker on the bolt lift. And that's just my personal experience. But as you can see, there is a difference in pressure. So the regular OBT tune would be a little bit more conservative, I guess you could say, when you're making your ladders. That's why if you're using Bullet Jump in OBT or Bullet Jump in IP or whatever you're using, the pressure is lower, and you may be hitting your pressure max sooner when you're doing your ladder workups than if you just did an OBT tune. So that's probably why. Okay. Another way to look at this is referencing the seating depth misdirection from part 9, where I used my son's Savage 10 FP and seated the bullets deeper and deeper, right? So what I did was I took that tune profile and I went back to the original tuned seating depth, which was 45 thousandths inch off jam. And I started with that profile, and then I kept seating the bullet deeper and deeper. And this is what the GRT Bullet Jump prediction was giving me for velocities, for muzzle velocity. And I do want to point out that if you remember in part 10 of the basic series, I said I had that one piece of brass. So I threw out that piece of brass, the data from that, and this was the average muzzle velocity for this seating depth right here. So this is easier to look at a chart. This is a little easier to see the results. So from part 9, this green line here is the actual average feet per second versus the seating depth. And here along the horizontal axis is the inches off jam. Okay. Now, when I went back and went to the tuned seating depth, and then I gradually increased the Bullet Jump, these were the velocities, muzzle velocities that GRT was giving me. So you can see it's not agreeing with reality. It's starting to decrease here a little bit, and we talked about that with the compressed load, but it's not reality at all. So bullet jump is very similar to seating depth, where it should be a set and forget if you're going to actually use it. But in my mind, it's just an extra step that's not needed, because you're going to get accurate velocities or muzzle velocities whether you're using bullet jump or not. And that's why the warning is, Gordon put the warning in there, excuse me, that it's a last resort for using bullet jump. So if you're using a straight wall cartridge, they're having issues um, getting accurate results in GRT, okay, then you can probably look at using bullet jump. But for most of you that are not using straight wall cartridges, it's completely unnecessary and a waste of time, in my opinion. Also, it might be more useful with pistols, but again, I don't know. I haven't experimented with GRT pistols yet, but I do have a 41 Magnum, a 357, and my father's 500 Smith & Wesson that I can dabble in, but I haven't got to that point yet. So just another reason why I don't think the feet per second depiction of bullet jump or tuning with bullet jump is necessary, because just an added layer of misdirection. So compound that with the seating depth. If you change your seating depth, your results are going to be wrong. If you change your bullet jump, your results are going to be wrong. And then after that, if you tune it with the bullet jump, maybe your pressure is going to be lower than actual. I don't know. You'll have to check that and see for yourself. But I'm just saying, in my use case, bullet jump is completely unnecessary. Adding another layer of analysis paralysis, I went back and I went to the untuned profile, and then I adjusted the initial pressure. So I tuned the profile using initial pressure only, both for the N150 and the Varget. And both of them came out to around 8460 to 8500 psi for initial pressure. But once I adjusted initial pressure to match the muzzle velocity, these are the final max pressures that I was saying. So 55.3 versus 54.2, so the IP version is higher here, and the IP adjusted version tune profile is higher here as well. So how much higher? About 1,000-ish, right? So again, it's another option for tuning your profile, but you can see even using IP adjusted profiles, which is what the original way of tuning GRT, that was the original way of tuning it before OBT was released. It's even more conservative than bullet jump and OBT. So just another point of data here. I'm not saying this is the way to tune it, or this is the way to tune it, or this is the way to tune it. Just, you can do this on your own. Just go ahead, get a safe load, and see which way of tuning you prefer. Maybe one way will be more accurate than the other. But as far as Dewey goes, I'm just going to stick with the OBT tune until I see a reason not to. So with that, I'll leave you with this terrible depiction of AI photo depicting bullet jump. This was after a couple of attempts with prompts, and it still couldn't get it right. So I'm not worried at all about Skynet becoming self-aware anytime soon. But I hope you enjoyed this video, and maybe give you something a little bit extra to think about when you're tuning your GRT profiles, and maybe save you some time and maybe some ideas to experiment yourself with bullet jump. As always, if you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. Maybe comment down below if you've been successful with bullet jump, and share these videos with your friends. Until next time, this has been The Dewey Difference.